That's Norwegian Wood by the Beatles, hence the name of this episode, Norwegian Wood. The main reason why I named it Norwegian Wood is due to the fact that there's a couple of stories about Norway this week, which is kind of odd because that's never happened before. I've never talked about Norway, I don't think, but this week we've got two stories about Norway. So I figured I don't really have any other really good name for the episode, so Norwegian Wood it was. Just popped in my head. Boom. It's a brand new episode Dylan knows. It is episode 476, Norwegian Wood. And it is December 3rd. Almost going to be over. It's 11:48 on December 3rd. Now, the reason why I'm wearing my Krampus shirt, Krampus Nacht is on Monday, the 5th. And technically, by the time that this show gets done, it'll be Krampus Nacht Eve. So I figured I'd wear this. Plus, it's a brand new shirt I'm going to wear on Monday again anyway. So, hey, it's Krampus Nacht. And I don't get a chance to do a Krampus Nacht episode this weekend. I did last year. I did one because it was on Sunday. And then the year before I did one, it was on Saturday. So I figured, hey, it was good or some sort of combination in that form. Anyway. Ton of trailers today. Oh my God, this week. A ton of them. A lot of good ones, obviously, but a lot of trailers this week. I mean, a lot of trailers, some information. Sorry. Fortnite stuff. We'll get into that, but some Fortnite stuff. Wednesday. We've now watched 6 episodes of Wednesday. I don't think I did any reviews of it last week. Did we start watching it this week? Yeah, I think we started watching it this week. So last weekend I hadn't watched it yet, so I didn't do any reviews of it. So because last weekend was Thanksgiving weekend, so yes, we hadn't done that yet. So I'll give you my review of the first 6 episodes of Wednesday. It's worth all the hype that you've been seeing online, stuff like that. A lot of death this week. Some pretty good ones. Not good ones, big ones, I should have said, because no death is really good. Actors, sports ball, candles, future eggnog pops up a few times in here. 'Tis the season for eggnog. Clothing done by restaurants pops up a couple times, actually, also. Fortnite actually pops up a couple times. It's been a while, but we finally have a new sighting of an all-white animal. I will let you know about that, too. Lego makes its appearance again. Solar electric cars, which is actually kind of an interesting thing. The Love Rug, talk about that, too. And reboots, TV shows, charity, donuts, a lot of trailers. I said there's a lot of trailers, characters. So yeah, candy bar, computer games, Pepsi Nutmeg, all kinds of fun stuff. So we are going to start off with a ton of trailers and discussions of those as well. The hugest, biggest trailer that was released this week was the trailer for Cocaine Bear. Yes, a real movie directed by Elizabeth Banks of 40-Year-Old Virgin fame and a bunch of other stuff as well. They Pitch Perfect. She did a lot of stuff with that as well. Cocaine Bear is a story that we've been following here on Dylan Knows for a while. When I mentioned it numerous times when they announced that Elizabeth Banks was going to direct it, that there was a movie being made about it, then the filming of it, and now the trailer. The movie is based on a true story about a airplane that crashes, I think. I think in real life, the airplane crashed, I think, in the wilderness, like in a national park like Yellowstone or something like that. And a bear stumbled across it and ingested the cocaine that the airplane was flying with and went on a rampage. I think in end, it killed 3 people and then eventually was put out of its misery, obviously. But they decided to up the ante, obviously, for the movie because it wouldn't be entertaining to do like a live sort of version of that. So they decided to up it and turn it into kind of a B-movie sort of thing because it's got a B-movie feel to it. A bear high on cocaine attacks people. and based on true story, but they decided to up the ante on this. So the trailer is absolutely whacked out, exactly what you expect from a movie called Cocaine Bear. And it better keep that title also, because that title's awesome. Cocaine Bear will be out hopefully in movie theaters next year. I hope it doesn't go direct to streaming, because it'll probably stream on a streaming service I do not own, but we'll see. The next biggest, baddest, craziest one that surprised me more than anything was Transformers Rise of the Beast trailer. Now, again, those of you who've been following this show know my disdain for Michael Bay, his directing style, the person in general, and just his movies in general. I give The Rock a pass because I really, really like The Rock. I'm not a big fan of the Bad Boys saga. Definitely not a fan of Pearl Harbor. Definitely not a fan of his Transformers movies. And I've talked about them many, many times because I've been doing the show pretty much all the time he's been making Transformers movies. So whenever a new one came out, I would totally blast it in some form or another. Again, I keep hearing that squitching noise and it's freaking me out a little bit. Sorry about that. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen The Island yet, and that one might be one that I might end up liking too. I mean, Ewan McGregor, Scarlett Johansson. But Armageddon is a god-awful movie, and just the stuff he's been doing lately has just been bleh. But this movie, Transformers Rise of the Beast, has no Bay in it at all. He might be a producer of some form or another, but he's not a writer. He did not direct it. It is Bayless, which is great. And the trailer looks like a goddamn great Transformers movie, the one we've been waiting for, where you can tell who the bad guys and the good guys are. And you get the primal Transformers, the Transformers beasts that everybody's been looking forward to for a while. We're finally going to see them live on screen. Now, the only other time that there was a Transformer movie that got me a little excited was Bumblebee. And that one, it was another good one. Again, Bayless. So the Bayless ones are doing really, really good for me. So Transformers Rise of the Beast, I saw that trailer this week. I was like, you know what? I might end up going to see that movie in the movie theaters. Maybe not opening day, but sometime I might say, you know what, may as well go kill some time and go see that. It wouldn't kill me. The next really, really big one, the Mario Brothers full-length trailer, based on the animated series with Chris Pratt as the voice of Mario, which is getting a lot of hate. I guess because most people are used to the "it's a me, a Mario" sort of thing, but and then you got the first teaser trailer and you get Chris Pratt talking. It's Chris Pratt talking like Mario. I mean, not like it's Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt for the most part. This extended trailer, though, actually makes it seem not as terrible as you think it would be. It actually looks like a very entertaining movie. You get aspects of Luigi's Mansion, Mario Kart, Mario Party, Donkey Kong. You get all kinds of fun stuff about that. And Chris Pratt even throws in a few "let's go" and a few other things as well, but not in the Italian accent, but he does use some of the lingo for that. But it actually looks a lot better than I thought it might. And obviously my son is still going to want to see it. So we're probably going to go see that when it comes out as well. I think it's March, I think. So we'll go see that. So it's actually not terrible to me. And I was trying to explain it because my son's like, oh, why do they have to get Chris Pratt? Why? Because he plays Mario all the time and he likes the Mario voice. It's like, well, to be completely honest with you, the Mario voice is a tad stereotypical. Italians don't all talk like this. No, they don't. That's a me and Mario. It's me and the green. It's spaghetti. That's a kind of a stereotype that they do. And the fact that Mario in the video games is pretty, and in the cartoons for the most part as well, is that very kind of stereotypical thing. It's not really going to fly too much. And Chris Pratt has with him doing the voice of in the Lego movies, done a pretty good job. And he's, despite his politics, he's got some good resumes under his belt. So I'll give him a little bit of a pass on. I keep hearing that. Give him a little pass on that. Speaking of Chris Pratt, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer came out this week, finally. Now, people at San Diego Comic-Con had seen this footage already, but I think this is some new footage was added to the stuff that you saw at San Diego. And after the outstanding Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which all of you need to go see again multiple times. I've seen it for a second time already. I got plans to see it again this week, sometime by myself. And also, my son still says he wants to see it, so hopefully I'll be able to get him to want to see it eventually too. He says he wants to, but we haven't set up a time for it yet. But I really cannot stress how good the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is, and how decent and fun and emotional it is in a good way. And we get this trailer, and it's outstanding. I was not the biggest fan of Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. This one, from what I've just seen from the trailer, gives me hope that there is hope for this after the holiday special as well, hope for this franchise as well. But at the same time, we know this is James Gunn's last rodeo as the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's going on to run DC now. And also all of the cast members like, yeah, this is it. We're done. We're not doing any more. And if there is another Guardians movie, we're not going to be in it. As of now, they say it could change in 5-10 years if they decide to do a reboot of it. But, that's the movie biz, you're going to change stuff up like that. But just watching this trailer, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Part 3 trailer, it's going to be dark as shit. It's going to be emotionally wrenching as shit. And I'm not sure I want to see it because there are all kinds of crazy stuff going on. You get Baby Rocket. You get him with an otter friend. So we're going to see how he got tortured and turned into the living raccoon that he is. And then we have a sequence where it looks like, Chris Pratt Star-Lord is in pain or is screaming or crying that somebody died, and there's blood coming out of something. They're in prison again, and they're getting beat up. But then there's also some comedy bits in it, and we see that Gamora is going to be back as well, the Gamora from the past, from what happened in Endgame. And I have faith that this is good. And then we get our first look at Adam Warlock. So I have faith that this movie is going to be really, really good. But at the same time, I also am worried that it's going to be a really emotionally devastating movie with multiple deaths or multiple just sad bits. And I don't think I'm ready to see that yet, but that's when I'm definitely going to be in the seats opening day. I will, when the year ends, obviously, the beginning of the year, I drop some dates that I want off for my vacation. I got 15 days vacation. And if there's a Marvel movie I want to see at the beginning of May, I always take that Friday off. And this one is beginning of May. So I'm definitely going to take that Friday off again and see it in movie theaters again when it comes out. So that'll be one of my vacation days to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Contemplating Ant-Man 3 as well, because that also has a lot of emotional components. It's like there's going to be some crazy shit going on with that one too. That's in February, so I might drop that one now. The Captain Marvel 2 one, I want to see it, but at the same time though, it's during the summer, and I kind of like to honestly be by myself when I take my vacation days, and my kids will be, well, at least one of my kids will probably still be at the house at the time. So I might not take that day off, but we'll see. But we'll go see that movie anyway that weekend because my wife loves Captain Marvel. So we'll have to see that anyway. And Miss Marvel was good as well. So she's in that as well. So it's emotionally wrenching. And it makes me worried about what's going to happen to our friendly neighborhood goofball outer space people. So we'll see how that goes. Then they also released the Indiana Jones 5 trailer, which was not a movie I was all that excited about. Spielberg's not directing it, and it's Harrison Ford, 80 years old, trying to continue being Indiana Jones. But to be fair, the director of Copland, I forget his name right now, is the one who's directing this. And this first trailer is actually like, yeah, this might be a good one to check out on the weekend also, because this comes out like June 30th. So it's like something around that time. So I was like, that could be a pretty entertaining movie. I could check that out as well. So get to see a little bit of a de-aged Indiana Jones, and Salah's in it. And it looks very interesting actually. So I'm not too concerned about that now anymore. We'll take a little breather from other trailers, and then some of the other trailers that popped up are more for TV and streaming stuff that's coming up. So I just want to hit those movie ones real quick. The other big news that came out, because Disney seemed to release Guardians of the Galaxy, Indiana Jones, and this news all at the same time. And obviously, it was during and I just realized it was for the Brazil Comic-Con where they released all this stuff. Mandalorian season 3 now has an official start date. It will be the first episode of season 3 will stream on March 1st, 2023. So we'll get that. So we're finally gonna be able to see Mando and Baby Yoda and all those people again, and Christopher Lloyd's in it as well. So that should be a good thing. Just we're gonna see that. So that is very nice. Speaking of Star Wars, real quick, the Acolyte has started filming, which is another Star Wars TV show that'll probably come out. Probably not this year, probably next year, because they're filming it right now. They probably special effects, but we get a little idea, because a lot of people had no idea what the whole story was about, and they started filming it a couple weeks ago. But now some news is coming out. The Acolyte is going to basically be about how the Sith infiltrated the Jedi Order, which is kind of an interesting. It's going to take place like thousands of years before all the Star Wars stuff, so it could be interesting to see all that stuff. New characters, no real connection probably to the Kenobis and the Palpatines and the Skywalkers and stuff like that, which is honestly what you kind of need in these type of shows. So no, that could be a good thing to pick up as well. So that'll be good. So we'll check that out too. Okay. We'll talk about this now because this is a big deal. You all know that I play Fortnite. I got into it during COVID 2020. My son got into it just before COVID really hit and they had to stay home. And I was watching him play it with his friends. And I was like, this is kind of cool. Because I'd always been kind of Fortnite when it got hugely popular in the first chapter, in the first like 10 seasons of the first chapter. I was like, Fortnite, because it was so popular and it was permeating through pop culture, the emotes and all the TikTok. Well, they were Vines at that time of the emote challenges. They show the emote and then you try to do it and stuff like that. So there was stuff like that was going on. So it didn't really appeal to me, but then eventually, and my son was the same way, but then his friend convinced him you should give it a try. And actually, he went over his house. It was like the first time he ever went over his house, and they played Fortnite for the first time. Well, my son played Fortnite for the first time ever over there, and he got hooked on it. So when I picked him up, he's like, "Dad, can we get Fortnite?" And I was like, "Okay, that's what you want. We can do it. Doesn't cost anything. So sure, why not?" So we downloaded Fortnite to our Switch, and he started playing it. And I started watching it. I was like, "That is really kind of cool." And then I learned that it was on my phone. So I got it on my phone. I started playing it. I got hooked on it there. And then eventually when Epic and Apple got into their little tiff and Apple shut it down, I got my Switch Lite for my birthday in 2020, and I was able to download it there. And I've been playing it on that since. So I've been playing since 2020. Here we are, 2022. It's been 2 years since I've been playing Fortnite. And it's still a fun game. This past chapter 3, these 4 seasons of chapter 3 have been kind of a slog for me over the past year. It hasn't been as good as I really, really liked the chapter 2 map. And when they got rid of it, I was like, okay. And I was going to keep it in mind, but it was just chapter 3 was just a slog and it was awful. And then when they announced that chapter 3 was ending now, and chapter 4 is going to start, I was like, that can't be right, because the first chapter was 10 seasons. The second chapter was 8 seasons. Like, why are you dropping it to 4 seasons now? Apparently, it's a new thing they're going to do now, is that every year is going to be a new chapter now. Instead of spreading it out over a couple years, it's going to be 1 year per chapter. Now, we'll see if they stick to that depending on how things go. But they always tend to have a live event that ends the previous chapter and sets up the new one. The new one is currently being uploaded and worked on right now to the servers, and it should be live in about 3 hours. I will not stay up. I mean, I'll be up. I'll probably still be up by the time it breaks over, but if you're going to have to download, it's going to take about an hour to download it to my Switch because there's so much stuff. But I'll be able to. So I said, I'll just wait till I get up tomorrow, and I can look at the streamers who are already working on it and catch the trailers and get to see what the battle pass looks like before I download it on my Switch, and then I'll just download my Switch and I'll play it on my own. So we had the live event today, and the last few live events have actually been a lot of fun. This one was not so much fun. We started in this really wild, cool place with this great music, and we were just hanging out and chilling for about 40 minutes, and then we got into the game, and it started off with the main villain destroying the island entirely. I mean, they ripped the island apart, blew it up, and everyone died. But then somehow everybody was able to come back together, and we had to play these mini games to bring back chunks of the island, and we reformed the island in this weird sort of amalgamation shape thing. But it got better once we understood what we had to do, but there was really no explanation about what we had to do or how to do it. They just said, do this and then do this. And they just said, well, you need to check for it was just, you had to figure it out on your own. So we did eventually, and then it got to be a little bit better like that. But then it just sort of ended, and kind of neat. So we saw some of the stuff that's coming. Chapter 4 appears. We'll have a new map, obviously. It appears that the Hulk will be one of the skins. They're going to have dirt bikes. The Witcher is going to show up. Mr. Beast is going to show up at some form or another. The Doom character from the Doom video game series is going to be showing up on the island, which I want to get because I love Doom, along with some new characters as well. So it looks kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens. The island looks like it's going to be really, really cool with this amalgamation of all these different seasons and chapters and stuff like that. So that could be a lot of fun. And we'll see a throwback season, whatever. We'll see how that goes. So I'll let you know more about that next week when I've been playing it for about a week or so. Peter David, one of my favorite writers, comic book writers, and he's done some good sci-fi stuff, and he's done some TV work. He's had some more. He's had another not massive stroke. He had another stroke. He's in the hospital again. So prayers to him. Make sure that he's okay, and we don't lose him. A Violent Night, the David Harbour Santa Claus Die Hard sort of movie, took in $1.1 million on its Thursday night preview. It appears that by projections right now have it coming in second behind Wakanda Forever, which has crossed $400 million domestically, which is damn good. And probably with that now it was 600 million last week, so we're probably looking at the 700 to 800 million worldwide. Going this week as well, so that continues to be a big hit, and so good on that as well. Where is that? I don't know where it's at. Oh, there it is. Finally, there it is. Yeah, and we're kind of forever. I said that already. Okay. Let's see. Michael Douglas. I did not know he was doing this. Apparently is going to be portraying Benjamin Franklin in a biopic. And I'm thinking about that as like, that's actually kind of cool. They had some behind the scenes pics of it, and he looks like Benjamin Franklin as we expect him to look. So that's kind of interesting to see that. So the fact that he is going to do that is a really good idea. Jim Parsons of The Big Bang Theory is going to voice Snagglepuss in brand new HBO, or not HBO, Hanna-Barbera project. So that'll be kind of interesting to see the new version of Snagglepuss as Jim Parsons is kind of exit stage left. And it's really, really interesting to hear him do that. So looking forward to that. That could be kind of good. Joe Pesci. Tis the season. Home Alone season it is. Home Alone is still one of my favorite Christmas movies. Home Alone 2, not so much. It's basically was kind of a lazy rewrite of the original Home Alone, but changed it up a little bit by putting him in New York City and making the violence be even more cartoonish. And but the basic story is the same of both of them. But in Home Alone 2, was revealed this week that Joe Pesci suffered real burns and bruises on the set of Home Alone 2, because there's, in the first movie, I mean, there was a bit in the first movie, you saw the fire burn him in the first one, but he didn't suffer that bad. And then one running out with the fire on his head itself, and the next scene was a stunt person because you couldn't see the face; it was in shadow. But for some reason, in the second one, Joe Pesci actually got some burns due to the fire, because I guess they're using real fire for that, and also got some bruises from some of the really violent, because the ending of Home Alone 2 is really extraordinarily violent. And yes, it's done in a comedic, cartoonish way, but still it is way more violent than the first one is. And so the fact that that happened to him is absolutely stunning. Food-wise, Subway has created a foot-long cookie. We all know they do foot-long subs, but they also do foot-long cookies now, which is really kind of interesting. I think I talked about this a week or so ago, but I don't think my friend Gary told me about this, but I don't know if I mentioned it in the show. But Hawaii's big volcano, Mauna Loa, he's going to kill me. Mauna Loa, excuse me, volcano, had been smoking for a while there. And this week it finally erupted. But apparently there was a secondary volcano not too far away from Mauna Loa, which also erupted as well this week. So far, nothing majorly bad is happening, though they did say this week that lava appears to be heading towards a major highway. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes on with that. But because the Hawaiians do still, revere their gods and stuff like that, there are some people now claiming that the Pele or Pepe or something like that, whoever the queen god of Hawaiians are, is angry with the result of these two volcanoes erupting right next to each other. So we'll keep going with that, make sure that but so far there's been no deaths attributed to this, no real damage as of yet. But as I said, the lava is heading towards a major highway. But that story came out a couple days ago, and I haven't heard anything since. So obviously something didn't happen, because you'd think that would be a bigger story if if lava overtook a major highway in Hawaii. So to be continued. We're gonna get back into some trailers now real quick. This is for the streaming service ones. We've been talking about this show for a while. We finally get our first full-length trailer for it, That 90s Show, which is it's not a remake. It's a continuation of the 70s show, taking place obviously 20 years later, and it's going to really follow Red and I just had her name too, and her character is so great, Mrs. Foreman, Kitty, Red and Kitty. It's really going to follow them more, and of course you got two great actors in God, my mind. I want to say Campbell Scott, but it's not Campbell Scott. It's just let's see, but they're two great actors who have really good chemistry together. Hold on a second. I don't want to do the trailer. I want to see the cast list. That 90s show, yeah, cast. Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp are going to be the main. They're going to be they're the great chemistry couple, and it's going to focus more on the offspring, their grandchild, the offspring of Eric and Donna. Leia is going to come to spend the summer with them, and she has a whole bunch of friends, and they're going to do sort of the same stuff that the 70s show stuff did. But the 70s show cast, with the exception of one guy who's in prison currently, Danny Masterson, are all reprising their roles. Probably not for the whole series, but they might pop up an episode here or there, because this show is Kitty and Red's. So the first trailer came back, and it looks passable. It should be a interesting take. I mean, it looks like it's just sort of a similar sort of feel to stuff, and yeah, but we'll see what happens. So that came out. The spinoff of The Witcher, Blood Origin trailer came out with Michelle Yeoh. That came out this week as well. The Last of Us, which is HBO Max's big new show based on the video game with Pedro Pascal, got its first full-length trailer out this week as well. Both were okay. I don't really have an interest in seeing those two, but the 90s show, maybe I'll check that out. That's going to be on Netflix. I think they had a date for that. I don't think I wrote down the date for it. Yeah, it's due out. Let me see if I can get you when that 90s show is due out, because I think they revealed the date on the trailer, and I honestly don't remember. January 19th is when it drops. Okay, so we have until January 19th. So that'll be dropping on January 19th. I'm actually going to write that down so I can put that like on my calendar. Where are you? There you are. So that's good. So I don't really have any interest in those other ones. So we'll see. But the trailers are out. So if you're interested in seeing that, there you go ahead and do that. Deion Sanders, I'm sorry, not supposed to do that yet. August 18th, 2023 will be the release of Blue Beetle, which now has release date, has its first poster out as well. Poster looks really, really cool. And the movie, which had some people fearing that a Batgirl was going to happen, was going to get canceled. It's not. It's now due out August 18th, 2023. So we'll get that in August. Deion Sanders, we'll talk about them now, is he had a successful head coaching job at a like Jackson State low college thing, and they had a very successful season. They didn't lose a game, I don't think. And because of that, a lot of people are looking at him as a possible upper ranked coach. So the University of Colorado, who really hasn't had a major team in college football to really think about in a while, are circling him to be their new coach, and that could bring them back to prominence. So hopefully that'll work, because it'll be fun to see Colorado sort of come back into prominence again. They were for a while there, but then they sort of slipped away again. So it'd be kind of neat to see that. One of the reasons why this episode is called Norwegian Wood, the first of my 2 Norway stories, a hunter finds a 1,100-year-old weapon on a Norwegian mountain that belonged to a Viking. So that's kind of cool that happened. So that's the first main reason why I called this, one of the main reasons why I called this episode Norwegian Wood. Next up, natural park candles. So candles that are supposed to smell like various national parks. They don't have all of them yet, but I think Yosemite's one, Glacier's one, Joshua Tree's one. There's a couple other ones in there as well. Zion, I think. So if you've always wanted to know what a national park smelled like, you now have candles. Now, I also saw on my Amazon that there's also date of birth smelling candles. Or is it not date of birth? No, I think it's it's zodiac sign ones. So you can have like a Gemini candle and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, national park candles are now a thing too. The first of a couple of my eggnog stories. People are putting mayonnaise into their eggnog, and that's just a big old ew and a big old no way in hell, because that would just make things even worse. I guess they're trying for more creaminess, but mayo does not belong in eggnog. Eggnog is perfect the way it is, despite what people may think. So, yeah, stay away from putting mayo in my eggnog. Real quick, let's just run through Wednesday real quick, and then I'll hit the deaths and anniversaries and continue on with the show after that. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I figured maybe as well just want to get it done here. So Wednesday is Tim Burton actually is the producer of it, and he directed only 4 of the 8 episodes. And he didn't write any of them, but the show doesn't really have any Tim Burton sort of esque qualities to it. It has a couple here and there, but the majority of it is just sort of what you've seen in other supernatural type shows. But in the end, the way I describe it is how I describe it to my daughters, that it is a typical high school, cliched high school TV show, with a supernatural twist, which actually makes it work actually pretty good. It's got a love triangle. It's got the bitchy rival. It's got the loyal best friend. It's got parental issues, stuff like that. So you get all that, but then you add a supernatural mystery to it, and just Wednesday Addams being Wednesday Addams, and you get a really interesting show that deserves all the accolades it's getting. I'll get into some of those accolades. Actually, I know I may as well get into it now because I know it's on here. Wednesday breaks Stranger Things record for most hours viewed for an English language show on Netflix in its first week. Now, they keep throwing that in there because I think that one Chinese game, that show Squid Game, still owns the record for that. But that is Wednesday had Stranger Things 5 came out, or 4 came out this year. It had a ton of viewing hours. Sandman almost cracked it, but it came in second behind that. And now Wednesday comes in and destroys Stranger Things 5, Stranger Things 4, knocking Sandman down to the third place. But so Wednesday is a huge hit, and it's deserved. I mean, it's a great show. I love the cast. It's a mystery, supernatural mystery. They throw red herrings in there. They throw stuff at you that you're like, what are you, what's going on? What is this? And you get certain characters who, you think are going to be one way, turn out to be a different way. And just in general, just a really good, fun show. And Danny Elfman is outdoing himself. He does the music for the entire show. He's doing a fantastic job. The cast is great. Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams is outstanding. Luis Guzman as Gomez only appeared in one really full episode and a few periodic appearances here and there. He's absolutely really, really good. Completely different than the Raul Julia one, which is fine. Catherine Zeta-Jones's Morticia, I have more issues with. I love Catherine Zeta-Jones, but there's something about it. Just her portrayal of Morticia just isn't clicking for me because Angelica Houston was just so good. And that's really, the actor who plays Pugsley is pretty good, but the real key is the supporting cast that is at the school where Wednesday is are all outstanding, and it's fun. It's a good, decent, fun, entertaining mystery, supernatural, high school drama with some touch of comedy here and there. So it is, it's outstanding, and that's more I can do that. We still got 2 episodes to go, and then we'll be finished. So I'll let you know more about that later on. I know it wasn't as thorough as a review as the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, but there's just a lot to cover in the 6 episodes we've watched. And the story itself is one of those where you just kind of need to watch it yourself to just sort of get involved, because they are throwing all kinds of stuff at you, but it's all connected. They answer questions. They reveal something, and then we get the answer about why it was revealed a little later down the road. So it's doing its job. It's laying out a path and leaving some spots empty, and then eventually comes back to fill those up at the appropriate time. So, and also helps you make you think about it, because we had discussion today after we watched our 4 episodes today. My wife, my daughter, and I were just trying to figure out who we believe the monster is in the show, because it's obviously someone a part of the probably part of the town or part of the school where they're at. So we've been throwing out our suggestions due to what we've seen these characters do over the last 6 episodes. And, we've come up with our own little theories here and there. So it's kind of fun to just discover it on your own. So if you haven't watched Wednesday, set some time aside. It's 8 episodes. It's about an hour each, about 15 minutes, to be honest. So it's an 8-hour thing. So you don't have to watch it all at one time. And all episodes are out now, so you don't have to wait. You can binge if you want it on a weekend or whatever. Or you can watch it, like we have. We watched 2 episodes and we watched 4. We'll probably watch the last 2 maybe tomorrow night. We might wait till some other time, so we'll see. So that's good. So Wednesday's well worth it. Death this week. The big one, Christine McVie of Fleetwood Mac, passed away this week. She was part of Fleetwood Mac, and she also had a solo career as well. I don't really remember much from her solo career, but I do remember her from Fleetwood Mac. So interesting. Clarence Gilliard Jr., an actor who was the computer hacker in Die Hard. He was also in Walker, Texas Ranger, Matlock. First of all, he died this week as well. Gaylord Perry, Hall of Fame pitcher, one of the pitchers that I grew up watching. He died at the age of 84 this week. Al Strobel, the one-armed man from one of my favorite shows, Twin Peaks. He died today, or actually Saturday, I should say, since it's now Sunday. He died on Saturday, and yes, he did have one arm. Philo Kuther, founder of the VFX company Pix Omarda, died at the age of 58. So he probably did some special effects for some of your shows and movies that you've watched. TikTok star Noodle the Pug of No Bones Day fame died at the age of 14 this week. I don't think I've ever watched No Bones Day, so maybe I should check that out. Aline Kaminsky Crumb, an underground cartoonist, I guess maybe married to Crumb cartoonist, died at the age of 74. Jake Flatt, country musician, died at the age of 37, 1 week, very shortly after, 37 hours, died at the age of 37 hours after his wedding. So I don't know how he died. Maybe he died in throes of passion. I'm not making light of that. I don't know how he died, but that's kind of sad. Actor Brad William Henke, who was in Orange is the New Black, died at the age of 56. Julia Reichardt, Oscar-winning filmmaker and activist, died at the age of 76 this week. Linda Goldberg died this week. She is a writer of stories about cryptids and cryptozoology, one of which I actually started reading and I have on my book table called Monsters Among Us. So she was a writer who wrote nonfiction books about cryptids, she believed in them after reading, following up with people and interviewing them, stuff like that. And finally, Albert Pyun, a director who directed Jean-Claude Van Damme in Cyborg, a movie called Nemesis, and the original Captain America with Matt Salinger, who is J.D. Salinger's son from the 1980s, I believe. He passed away at the age, it doesn't say right here, but he passed away this week as well. Anniversaries this week. I don't have quite as many as I had last week, so this should go by pretty quickly. And I think I might repeat one or two of them, but that's all right. Tis the season, so we'll be getting a lot more Christmas stuff now. 1964, this week, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer first debuted. Misery, the wonderful adaptation of the Stephen King novel by Rob Reiner, starring James Caan and Kathy Bates, who won the Oscar for it, by the way. It came out 32 years ago this week. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, a classic, iconic Christmas movie. Some people believe it's one of the best Christmas movies of all time. Debuted 33 years ago this week. Is that page is done? Yes, this page is done. So now I can just go to this one. The absolutely most amazing music video you will ever see, directed by John Landis and starring, at the time, the hottest act in history, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's Thriller came out December 2nd, 1983. Kind of sucked about that was Thriller was such a great video, but it's like 15 minutes long because John Landis sort of threw in sort of a werewolf sort of story to it, because the song is basically kind of a Halloween sort of video that came out in December, but he wanted to bookend the video with his sort of own monster movie sort of thing. So the full video itself is 15 to 20 minutes long. Now MTV could not air the entire thing because it would, ruin the flow of their show, because they were, at that time, they were doing videos 24/7, and they wanted to keep showing some of the popular ones like Duran Duran and The Police and stuff like that, Van Halen. So I think they did an edited version of it that edited all the movie aspects of it out and just aired the song itself. I think they did some of that, but occasionally as a treat, they would air the full video. And it's a classic. 22 years ago, that makes it 2000. The year 2000, this week, actually, I think it was December 2nd, actually, 2000. Excuse me. Something that happened that has never happened in the NFL and has not happened since, happened on this day, on December 2nd, 2000, 22 years ago. 4 NFL running backs on the same day all ran for over 200 yards. Oh, she's still up. That has never been done until that moment and has not been done since the running game has sort of disappeared in the NFL proper. But, yep, 22 years ago. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Now, I think that might have been the weekend that I met my wife's family for the first time. Well, her in-law, my in-laws, my father-in-law, mother-in-law, for the first time ever, because we were going to her sister Shan's birthday party. I think it was that weekend. It might have even been that day, and I might have watched it because of that. But it's brings back memories. David Bowie and Bing Crosby sang "The Little Drummer Boy," which is a Christmas classic. Anniversary. I don't know what the date was for that, but that was the anniversary of that. Was this week as well. The Naked Gun, I did not know it came out in December, but The Naked Gun, the comedy with Leslie Nielsen, came out 34 years ago this week. Santa Claus, the movie, starring Dudley Moore, came out 37 years ago this week. I think I did this one. Alien Resurrection came out 25 years. I think I talked about that last week. Rocky IV came out 37 years ago this week. As I said, Alien Resurrection came out 25 years ago this week. And The Crucible with Winona Ryder and, God damn it, character actor. Not character actor, method actor who played Lincoln. God, it's killing me. The Crucible. Daniel Day-Lewis, that's what it was. That's right. I got it before I had to look it up. Okay, yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis and Winona Ryder. The film version of The Crucible came out this week in 1996. I went to see that in the movie theaters, actually. So that's the anniversaries for this week. All righty. On to page 2 here. The Olive Garden has created matching PJs that have, Olive Garden staples on it and all kinds of Italian restaurant sort of stuff on. So you can now get those at your local Olive Garden if you like. Hot Pockets, not to be outdone, has created a cargo pant that I think comes with a Hot Pocket. And not to be outdone by that, Red Lobster, where is that one? Red Lobster has created, the holiday sweater that has insulated pockets to put your Cheddar Bay biscuits. So 3 restaurants all getting involved in the clothing industry and are making various kind of weird inroads into stuff like that. All have stuff that was announced this week coming out for the holidays. Former NASA engineer, I guess, was up in space or something like that, decided to do an experiment and dropped an egg from space, and it didn't break when it landed, which I find hard to believe, but here we are. Okay. I have no idea who this person is, but Kate Dickie apparently has been cast in Loki season 2. Don't know who that is, but it apparently was a big deal that it became a story. A 19-year-old blacksmith formed a sword from a 4.5 billion-year-old meteorite. So I guess he got the meteorite and asked if it was okay if he made a sword out of it, which he did. So that's interesting. A 62-year-old woman was killed and 4 others were injured after a massive wave shattered a cruise line's window to her cabin. So a big wave came, it crashed the windows and killed her and injured 4 other people. So that's, kind of scary, on the open ocean and getting hit by that, not expecting to die because of that. But here we are. We've been talking about the John Wick spinoff Ballerina. We learned that 2 of the actors, John Wick and the guy who runs the Continental, are the 2 actors who played him in the John Wick movie series, will be reprising their roles in this Ballerina spinoff. Well, another character from the John Wick film series will be appearing in Ballerina as well, and that's Lance Redditt's Charon, who is like the guy who is lets people into the Continental and helps them out and stuff like that. So he's joining Keanu, and I forget the actor who played the head of the Continental in this spinoff with Anna Damaris. So it's good on that. Daisy Ridley has signed on to, and also is going to sign on to act in and also produce a TV show called The Christie Affair. Don't know what that's going to be about, but she's working on that as well. Troll premieres #1 on Netflix's film list. It came out December 1st, and it's about the giant troll. And I think it was filmed in Norway. There's your other Norway. Well, I have one of the Norway thing, but I think it was filmed there as well. Filming for the 5th season of Stranger Things is expected to begin in May of 2023. So that's coming up very close, very soon. Okay, so we got a lot of science stuff here. Therapists are now prescribing for their patients to play D&D, which is always kind of good. D&D can be very therapeutic if done properly. Some local news. This is kind of interesting because I've never heard of this. I've heard of it, but it's never happened here that I know of. Now, for those who don't know, when you're doing a show for Broadway, now it can be original show that's never been done before, or if it's a revival that has gotten the okay to show up on Broadway, but has a specific date when it's going to make it to Broadway. The producers of the play like to send the play and open it in other venues, smaller towns and smaller venues, and get feedback from the people watching it so that they can make some changes before it goes to Broadway. Because Broadway is, creme de la creme. It's the top of the mountain sort of thing. And you want to have the best possible show you can. So this is sort of like the preseason games. The play with the original cast who's going to originate it or be part of the Broadway show, travel with this show to various, as I said, small towns here and there. They run the show for a couple weeks. They get feedback from it, and then they make changes. Like there was a story I read once where someone took a play. It was a new play, and people liked it, but one of their complaints was that it was a little long. And they also, one of the questions was your least favorite song, was your most favorite song. And the wide majority of a lot of the viewers did dislike this one song. So they took a look at the play and they said, yeah, we can probably lose this song. It's not going to affect the plot in any way. We can maybe rewrite something if we want to make a statement through this song, we can just turn it into a couple lines between the characters and boom, you're there and you can keep going. It'll make it flow easier and the song that people don't like will be out and stuff like that. So they might change that up, or they say we need to tighten this up, or we need to shorten the song, or we need to lengthen the song, or we need to make it more understand, whatever. So it's a way to just get, to build it, to tinker with it till you get to Broadway where it's its perfect self. I've never seen that happen in Baltimore until now. Apparently there is a revival of The Wiz, which is the hip hop version of The Wizard of Oz, is going to be coming to Broadway sometime next year. And Baltimore, the Hippodrome particularly, is one of the stops it will make in its final tinkering preseason before it gets to Broadway. So it will air. They will show the play at the musical at the Hippodrome for about a week, I think, a week or two. And as I said, they'll get feedback, they'll tinker with it, and then that could be like the final curtain. This might be the final rehearsal for it. And after the Baltimore show, since New York is not that far away, they might just say, let's just go. We're ready to go. This is the play. This is the musical. This is what everybody wants to see. Let's take it to Broadway and let's make a lot of money. So the fact that The Wiz is coming to Baltimore as part of this sort of thing that that goes through is kind of really interesting. So I'm trying to find it on here. Maybe I already checked it off. Oh, there it is. Dungeons and Dragons also is going to have Lego sets coming out for them as well. And The Lord of the Rings is releasing new Lego sets. They released some when the movies first came out, but now they're going to have a new batch of them coming out here real soon. So your fantasy Lego needs are going to be met over the next year or so. Disney brings back Oswald the Lucky Rabbit for a new short. That was a whole big thing where he was like one of the first cartoons they ever did. They lost the rights to it for a long time. Just got the rights to it back like a couple of years ago, and they're finally going to release him in his own show right now. So that's good on that. So congratulations. Margot Robbie last week or 2 weeks ago stated in an interview that she believed that her Pirates of the Caribbean spinoff, remake, whatever you want to call it, was dead in the water, and that she was going to be moving on to other projects, or was told to move on to other projects. Well, that might not be entirely true, because maybe after she said that, the producer's like, oh, no, it's still going on, Margot, if you're still interested. So apparently the Margot Robbie Pirates of the Caribbean spinoff, whatever, may not be as dead as Margot Robbie believed it to be. That's to be continued to see if that actually does happen. Don't know if they were just trying to save face, or in actuality, like, yeah, we're still working on it. We just haven't gotten a chance to work on it as well. And if you're still interested, please let us know. We can work it out with you. We are in the middle of Advent season right now. I think the second week of Advent is today. Because I don't think the fourth day of Advent can be Christmas, since Christmas is on a Sunday. So I think this is week 2 of Advent, to be fair. Anyway, Advent calendars are a big deal. And now you can have one for your cat. Fancy Feast has created an Advent calendar for cats, where every day has a treat or can of cat food from Fancy Feast for your kitty cat. Life-size Castle Grayskull makes its debut at the Brazil Comic-Con. So Castle Grayskull is He-Man's nemesis, Skeletor's place of where he lives. And now you can get your own life-size version of it. Speaking of life-size stuff, scientists, and these crazy scientists have created a life-size 3D model of a Norwegian woman from 800 years ago. I guess they had an idea of what she looked like, and they made a life-size 3D model of this 800-year-old Norwegian woman. There's your other Norwegian story. Scientists have also grown living human skin over a robotic finger. So now robots are becoming Terminators. I mean, humanoid robots. So you can get human skin over robotic hands. So scientists have been able to create that. Yeah, that's not going to go wrong now, is it? The world's first solar electric car is in development right now. I never knew that was even being considered, but it's kind of an interesting idea, and it makes a lot of sense, and it just makes the next, it makes sense to that be the next level of car right there. Stupid people. Farmers apparently feed cows Skittles as part of their feed. I did not know that. Is that even good for them? But I guess it is, because the farmers, I guess, discovered it, and it appears to be okay for them. So, all right. Sifu, martial arts game, will be turned into a movie by the John Wick creator. So I don't know what Sifu is. Apparently a new martial arts game, but the John Wick creator is going to turn it into a killer martial arts movie. I'm sure of that. Fortnite icon, here's another Fortnite story. Fortnite icon Jonesy is now going to be a skin in Minecraft. So, there's some collabs there. Hopefully that would mean maybe we'll get a collab of Minecraft into Fortnite. So we'll find out. It's been a while, but for a while there during the summer, it seemed like every week we were talking about a new all-white animal appear, or all black, or different, like they were. And my belief was that maybe the animals are starting to mutate a little bit, or maybe they know something's coming or whatever, and this is the beginning stages of it, whatever. But there's just been so many all white or all black, or just strangely colored animals that have never been seen before. We'll chalk up a new one. It's been a few weeks, but here's a new one for you. A rare white bald eagle was filmed in Oklahoma. So now this is just going to be a little crazy. Now it's been more than a few weeks, it's been a few months actually since I last talked about this. But the fact is, there's still rare white animals making their appearances throughout, life, and that's just kind of throughout the years and stuff like that. That's kind of something that makes you stop and think. Is there some sort of connection? Is there a reason this is happening? I don't know. It's an interesting one. Last week I talked about how Quentin Tarantino is joining with his pals Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola on dissing Marvel movies. Seems to be the new trend now amongst film geeks and nerds and morons and stuff like that. And finally, we get a clapback from one of Quentin's closest friends, Samuel L. Jackson, who plays Nick Fury in the Avengers superhero movies. And Samuel L. Jackson could not stay quiet anymore, so he went on the offensive against his friend and said, dude, what the hell are you talking about? And he mentioned that Chadwick Boseman was a movie star. And this Black Panther was what turned him into a movie star, because that was Quentin's whole thing, is that movie stars don't do comic book movies. And that sent Samuel L. Jackson off. And they worked together so many times, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Django Unchained, the Hateful Eight. It was like 4 or 5 movies they've done together. And here we are. It's his friend. And he's like, dude, shut the fuck up, you motherfucker. Chadwick Boseman is a star. There are other stars who are doing it. And so he believes that Quentin was mistaken. I swear to God, it's freaking me out. I keep hearing tap, tap, tap stuff. Should we do the morons now? Is that all that's left on this page? Yep, morons. First up, an argument between 2 men over a game of golf leads one golfer to bite the nose off the other in the parking lot. Bite the nose off. That's messed up, man. Bite the nose off. Man's genitals have been ripped off and eaten by a bulldog. First thought, you're like, oh my God, how did that happen? That dog is dangerous. No, the moron decided for whatever reason to cover his testicles with peanut butter. Of course a dog is going to fucking eat your fucking testicles, man. You put peanut butter on them. Why the hell would you do that in the first place anyway, you moron? Stupid people. I haven't had stupid stories in a while. Now we got 2 in one show, so that's crazy. These 2 are obviously connected. Mike Flanagan, the director, producer, writer, wonderkind of Netflix's, The Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly House, Midnight Mass, and the most recent Midnight Club, has signed a deal with Amazon Prime to start developing his shows over there now. He's no longer going to be working on Netflix shows. That being said, Netflix movies, he also did Gerald's Game, which is another good one. That being said, Netflix has decided, because you're doing that, we're not going to renew Midnight Club for a second season. So Midnight Club was not renewed for a second season on Netflix. Maybe that was done first, and that led to him signing this deal with Amazon Prime. Could there be a Midnight Club 2 on Amazon Prime? Who knows? You got to work out the logistics, because the first season is on Netflix, and you can't really switch over unless they make it worth their while. So I like to say that that's connected, and it is. Some bad movies. There's Snow Monster versus Ice Snake, or Ice Shark, I should say. So keep an eye out for that. And Avatar 2 is coming out very, very soon. And The Asylum, which is a great movie production company that likes to make parodies, and they were the ones that did most of the sci-fi bad movies, have created the Assault on where is it? With Battle for Pandora, excuse me, is the name of the movie they're doing right now, which is, again, it takes the premise of a popular film that's coming up or will be out soon or is out now and puts it on its ear a little bit. Like when they did the Pacific Rim movie, that came out in movie theaters. They did Atlantic Coast or something like that. So instead of it being about the Pacific Rim, they had it take place on the Atlantic Coast. And they've done stuff like that before. So they're doing it again, which I think is hilarious. So there we go. Stanley Tucci lookalike Mark Strong has signed on to the new Dune spinoff prequel that's coming on HBO Max. So good on that. The Rings of Power, the new the Lord of the Rings show that just finished on Amazon last month, is started filming season 2. And because the effects are going to take a long time and they want to make it be right and all this stuff, season 2 will not. Hold on a second. Did I just? Wait a second. Where am I? Here I am. Hello. 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 I'm sorry. I'm having some issues here. I'm having some issues here. I'm having some issues here. I'm sorry. I'm having some issues here. I'm sorry. I'm having some issues here. Cool. All right. I'm going to end stream. I'll be back.